Hi guys, how are we doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to today's class. How have we been? You can just put maybe in the comments what country are you reporting from. I'm happy to have each and every one of you here. I hope we're good. How's your one-day break been? I hope we're learning behind the scenes. How's your journey been? People that are in school, how is school? People that go to work, how is work? How are we all doing? How's life going basically? How are we today? How are we, Nigeria? How are we today? I just wait for more people to join. Maybe we'll start our class by 7:02 or 7:03. Can anyone tell us how their last class was? Do you remember anything you learned from the last class we had? Just type it. Okay, this is what I learned. This is what we talked about. I'm doing well. I mean, I've been good, taking each day at a time. We talked about designing for different devices, responsive design. Can any of us remember what stood out for them during the class? Just one more minute. Good evening, everyone. I can see a number of us are from Nigeria. Nice to have you. All right, so welcome everyone to class. Today we're going to be talking about collaboration and communication in design. Collaboration and communication in design. So this is what we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at what collaboration is. We'll be looking at the tools for collaboration. We'll be looking at communication and its importance. We'll also be looking at key communication skills. And then finally, we'll be having our Skillup quiz. It's going to be a live quiz. I don't know if you can get to a point that has good internet, or I really don't know, but it's going to be a live quiz. And I mean, we enjoy doing it. And it's a great time just to have a recap of everything we've taught in class. Okay. So let's talk about collaboration and communication. What is collaboration and communication? So collaboration and communication are vital in product design to ensure all voices are heard and ideas are shared. It leads to an increase in product efficiency and drives better results. Basically, when it comes to collaboration and communication, so collaboration is like working together. What collaboration is. And communication is basically, okay, how do we talk? How do we, there's verbal and non-verbal communication. How do we pass messages across even while we're working together? So we're going to be looking at that in this class. And it's definitely vital in product design because as a product designer, you're not working alone. You're working with different types of people, different types of users, different types of stakeholders, like everybody influencing the products. We have the developers, we have the product managers, and the list goes on. So you need to know how to communicate and collaborate with them, what platforms you can use, and so much more. I hope we're happy to be here. I'll try to explain as much as I can. And if by chance anywhere you're stuck or you don't understand, just put in a comment, tell me to re explain, and I'll be very much happy to do so. All right, so let's continue. So, what is collaboration? Collaboration is basically the process of where multiple stakeholders come together, work together to design products that meet user needs. And throughout this learning, we've come to understand that whatever we're designing, whatever we're creating, the end goal is it's user friendly, it's functional, it looks good, it has a great experience. So while you're working together with people, the end goal is whatever we're creating actually serves our user in the best way possible. So that brings us to collaboration in design. Is a process where multiple stakeholders, and we've defined stakeholders as users, product manager, basically anybody and anyone that influences it. So a user influences it, a product manager influences it, a quality tester influences it, marketing teams, developers, researchers, UX researchers, so legal teams, yes, because I mean your product has to be compliant with the laws of your country or your wherever you find yourself. So or where to be operating in basically. So everyone that influences or has to do with your product is called a stakeholder. So this is where multiple stakeholders work together to design products that meet user needs. And we'll still talk about more like, okay, how do we work together? Because I mentioned user is a stakeholder and stakeholder working together. Yes, users also give feedback because there's literally like opportunities to write reviews and also maybe complain about a service or something that isn't working in an application. So yes, apart from even them using and us monitoring their usage, they literally at some point do collaborate with the other members of the team, which will in turn maybe talk to the product designer and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So we'll be moving on. So just a quick disclaimer, I'll be announcing a session before our break starts. So be tuned. Have you heard me say that thing? Keep tuned or be tuned till we get to that point. All right. So let's move on. So what are the types of collaboration? We have one, the cross-functional teams. So as the word says, cross-functional. Functional teams that are different working together. So these are users, product managers, business owners. Also, you can put this as stakeholders working together. These are the developers, marketing teams, US research, customer. Like these are titles. There are companies where these titles are merged, but in an ideal company, they usually have each of these people stand alone or teams stand alone. So yeah, when the product managers are working with the product designers and then the business owners are like, okay, these are our goals. Developers are like, okay, this is what we can do. Marketing team is this is our target, these are what our customers are asking for. This is what tell us about the product so that we can push it to make sales for the company. So things like that basically. So there are different teams making sure a product works basically, and I mean to get the best result from the product, so making sales as well as meeting the user's needs. So first, where there's definitely a need for collaboration is in the cross-functional team. So these are everybody needed or everybody influencing the product or using the product basically. And we can look at a company like Apple, which is a large organization. So, and then a company like Apple too is one that has different products. So we have Apple TV, we have Apple Wallet, we have Apple Pay, we have normal iPhones, we have iPads, we have MacBook, they have so many range of products, both hardware products and software products. So they definitely have different teams working on those different areas, different literal products to look at, okay, how can we improve, what can we add, what can we remove, and Also there will be like platforms like, okay, test, or let's even make resources available for maybe other developers. So you have like developer community, and then let's get feedback from users. So you also, I think also through the developer community, they like release demo samples. I might have to confirm that. But yeah, there are also ways they're like, okay, you maybe you this set of people, you'll be using iPhone, or maybe the software of, I don't know the latest one. Let's say what iPhone 19 will be using, or what iPhone 20 will be using. There's already a set of people that are testing it right now. They're already having the features on their phone before they officially release it. That's of course after correcting bugs or confirming that okay, it's good to go. So they have those type of teams, and it's also the same. Someone like Google now that has Google Drive, Google Photos, Google Gmail, Gemini, Google Search. So like companies have different products which will need different product designers, which will need different, and definitely not one product designer can do everything, because we still need animation, we still need interaction designer, we still need user research. And also in companies like this, you have I think they call it specialized fields. So it's not one person cannot. So you usually have core fields like a UI designer alone. My own work is to design user interfaces. Don't stress me user experience. Another person, my own work is to determine user experience. Don't stress me user interface. So things like that. We also have core roles and specializations in companies like this. So that's for that. Let's move on. So another thing is remote collaboration. So this is when you utilize digital tools to work effectively with team members across different locations. This allows geographically dispersed teams to collaborate effectively, especially when using cloud-based tools like Figma, Miro on Slack. So remote collaboration, definitely that's something that, will I say, gained more light from Corona period. And this is where I'm in Nigeria, I'm working with someone from the US or someone in the UK or someone in Australia, and it's real time. Even if the time is different, like maybe it could be 9 p.m. over there and it's 5 a.m. over here. So like whatever the time zone or the time difference, once all of us join the Google Meet, we can talk and hear each other at the same time. Or once all of us come on Figma or FigJam, we can see what everybody is doing, and probably maybe have a session or a demo or a conversation or brainstorming and stuff like that. Same with Slack. So there are different platforms they use, which will kind of brush through later in this learning. And this is just to show that yes, remote collaboration is a thing. Okay. So other things to include, others include like other types of collaboration in depth. We can look at designer to designer collaboration, which is where UI designers, UX designers, and other design roles. Remember, like interaction designers, remember when I mentioned their core design roles? Like now in larger organizations, even if one person knows how to do like 10 things, is most likely going to do only one thing while working there. Probably applying the skills of the other things, but most likely going to do one thing while there. So this is where you find UI designer. That is my job. UX designer is in Nigeria and so on, or other places that you see. We want UI that can do UX, that can do graphics, that can do social media management. Like this can be a lot. So, but yeah, we have UI designers, we have UX designers, we have interaction designers, we have motion designers, we have visual designers. Kind of know visual designers are not graphic designers and are not photo manipulators and are not digital artists. Like the diversion is broad, the spectrum is large. So as you grow in this product design, you can join, you can what's the word, you can specialize, just like doctor or something. You learn general doctor, you learn how to be a general doctor, then over time you say, oh, I want to be a doctor for the hand, or I want to be a doctor for the eyes, and things like that. So that's kind of how it is in product design as well. Then it's also another thing about designer to designer collaboration. It ensures consistency in the design process. It helps balance aesthetics with functionality and allows brainstorming for innovative solutions. So when these designers come together, the reason they are coming together is so that when the motion designer wants to pick up and start adding animation to, or the animator wants to say, okay, let me even design the motion that the motion designer will add, whatever, or the elements the motion designer will use, it's a, this is our brand guide, this is the goal of this motion. Maybe it's to drag attention to this part of the screen, or maybe when the mouse goes on a button, it should be as if the button splashed into a new color instead of the basic change color on hover. So all those little animation, maybe as I'm scrolling, let it be as if one bird is flying with my mouse or something. So all those little animations, and it's not just like we've very much understood every design we do, especially in the tech field, is actually very much deliberate. Even if it might look like an artwork, is intentional, is most likely intentional. Like 9 out of 10, it was intentional than just a random artwork. So even if you see bird flying inside your website, that bird is probably calling your attention to click and buy or click and register instead of just flying. Do you get? So yeah, so designers have to talk with each other, have to collaborate. That okay, maybe the UI designer is having this vision that okay, when you enter the site, let it first greet you with like people riding bicycle. Then when you scroll again, let's cloud be moving. Then all these people that were riding bicycle, let them be inside the aeroplane. Maybe that's the goal. So the UI designer that is having that vision will have to communicate with interaction designer, will have to communicate with motion designer, and they'll say, okay, how can we achieve this? How can we create this? What is the point? What is the goal? So that's basically how it works. And yeah, you have to brainstorm, talk about aesthetics, talk about design system, talk about the solutions, and move on from there. Yes, I'm saying Abiops tips and lifestyle. The history is Peanuts, they used to offer those one role, one Abi master of all roles. Maybe I can call it that, because they'll say don't be a master of all. Abi was jack of all trades is better than, I can't remember the quotes, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So there are actually roles that want master of all, and unfortunately those roles don't always pay a lot compared to specialized roles. So let's move on. Then we have the designer developer collaboration. So this is a collaboration between the UI UX designers of product designers and the front end or back end developers. So developers is diverse. We have game, we have like there are different, the same way we have different types of designers, is the same way we have different types of developers. So whatever they are developing and in whatever way they're developing, I think we can kind of, at least there's a general front end and back end. So are you working behind the scenes? I don't want to go deep into this, but there's usually a server in the back end that communicates with whatever is showing, like whatever you click on, like for WhatsApp. Now, when I click on send, the reason why when I click on send, someone in America is getting my message is because something behind the scene is carrying my message and going to America's storage, dropping my message, and like, okay, now that you have gotten to the storage in America, locate so and so person in America and see this message coming from Nigeria, from me. So all those behind the scenes networking is what we can call backend. And then front end is literally when you click, then the transaction can start happening. So let me just summarize it that way. It's more complex than that, definitely. And we have different types. There's for game, even your phone you're using is a digital product, like hardware, and then there's a software digital product. The laptop you are using, the app inside the phone you are using, the everything, the sound, everything, they were coded most likely, and a lot went into it. So the people that bring whatever you design to life, basically, we can just call them developers. So they develop what you do, and they ensure the design is feasible to implement. So the reasons why designers have to Okay, backend, I don't want to, because I don't want to really confuse us really, but backend is like designing behind the scenes. Let me just put it that way, designing behind the scenes. There's like a communication with a server. So you know what we call the cloud is literally, of course, not a real cloud. It's actually like a server. What's a server is like a host, something holding your information. I think that's the best way to put it. Something holding your information. So now, when a server holds a lot of information for a platform or for a digital product, we have to access for information per time. Okay, so when let's say I'm chatting with ChatGPT now, and I'm saying what is my name or what is the name of the first pyramid in whatever in Egypt, I'll ask it that. When I ask it that, something is happening behind the scenes to say, okay, go to ChatGPT server, search. Has anybody said anything about pyramids? Okay, that pyramid. Has anybody said anything about first pyramid? Okay, what's the name of the first pyramid? They get that information. They now bring it back, and ChatGPT will say the name of the first pyramid was the pyramid by King so and so in Egypt in whatever year. So I can call backend all that process happening behind the scenes. While front end is the fact that I can ask ChatGPT that. So I'm looking at something, I'm clicking on something, and me clicking on something is able to communicate with ChatGPT to go and fetch that data. So that's the front end, what I interact with, what I can see. So to me, I literally don't know what's happening behind the scenes. My own is I just want to get the information of the first pyramid in Egypt. But the front end developer made sure that I can ask ChatGPT, and the back end developer made sure ChatGPT can answer me. So I think I'll just put it that way. Front-end developer, make sure I can ask ChatGPT. Back-end developer, make sure ChatGPT will answer me. And if the back-end developer probably didn't do a good job, once I ask that question, I'll see error because it's not fetching anything. And a front-end developer failed. I mean, once I click send, it's like, sorry, we can't even, like, it will even, maybe I'll not even be able to click on send. I'll just be clicking, nothing will happen. It would not load, it won't show anything, those type of things. So the front end is kind of person that will implement everything you have designed, will kind of convert it to code so that a rectangle is now a clickable button. I don't know now, a page that you design can now be scrolled. Then backend will now ensure that when I go to www.chatgpt.com, something actually comes out from the server of the internet or whatever. So I really hope I have explained. Do you understand? Okay. All right. So let's go on. So yeah, the reason why a designer collaborates with them is so that it's not what I ordered versus what I got at the end of the day. So when you design, you try and communicate with developers that this is what I designed. Though I use red here is not by mistake. Don't go and change it to green because you feel it's green. Then it's also this moving mouse. It was this animation, no. So when you are implementing it, please add the animation. Don't just think it's a mouse design. So that's kind of how the communication works. So whatever you design, you try to see it come to life. So that's where you interact with developer, and developer will ask questions. We can implement it, or we cannot implement it. Or you that wants someone riding bicycle to enter aeroplane and be flying. I'm sorry, but I've just been doing this job for 3 years. Please change it to something else, and you can design something else that, okay, instead of aeroplane, let their faces just show and keep scrolling. So that's where the communication comes in. Okay. Then we have, are we clear before I go on? Like a lot of us are not commenting today. Okay. So let's continue. So we now have the designer product manager collaboration. So a product manager is probably, it's like the project manager of digital products, hence a product manager. So there's still project manager in the company, but when it comes to products, we have the product manager. So product manager will work with designer. Designer, your design is not ready. Oh. This is what we're trying to achieve. Design it or add this, or our user has complained about so and so. Let's work on the flow. And there's that. And then product manager will go and meet developer. Oh yeah, designers have designed it. Oh yeah, you two, you have like 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 months to implement it. Don't give me story. Oh. Developer will do that one. Then we'll now go to market. Yeah, marketing. They've designed it. Start publicizing so that we can start making money. So different things. Shasha, the manager of the product, basically. And it's a partnership between designers and product managers to align on the design decisions with business goals and user needs, because product manager is not just looking at how the design can come to life, also is it making money and is everybody happy, is user happy, is company happy. So it ensures design supports the overall product strategy, prioritizes features effectively, and addresses both user pain points and business objectives. Then we have designer UX researcher collaboration. I'm just breaking it down, and I'm kind of using this to explain different roles so that it won't be foreign to us when we hear it on a different day. So designer UX researcher collaboration, definitely UX researcher is more on focus. So we know now this user experience researcher, like I'm literally dedicated to know the best experience, and not just know, I'm actively researching. So I'm gathering insights, I'm plotting graphs, I am checking platforms, I am running applications to monitor how user is interacting with the platform, because my goal is to make sure this experience is one of a kind, doesn't exist anywhere, perfect. Like for example now, when they started this new product of VR, they didn't have anybody to reference. Yeah, because VR was something that was new from scratch. Like we kind of had an idea of what it was or what it could be, like maybe Iron Man using glasses, we could, okay, that's VR. But let's say 2001, 2000, okay, let me even push back, 1995. There was nothing like VR, or maybe okay, 1980 or whatever. We didn't really have a lot of things to say, okay, this is VR. But we just said one day, my glasses, like this spy movie, will be able to snap pictures. And over the years, it's like, okay, well, yeah, let's even try to bring these glasses to life. And okay, there's these glasses does not exist. So it's now the researchers' job to sit down and say, hey, how can we create an experience with glasses? With what we have, with the money we have to achieve this goal. Oh yeah, research. Let me even know how normal glasses work. Let me know how technology of developing glasses work. Let's talk to possible developers, possible engineers, and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, you have some possible insights. Oh yeah, let's try and create. Let's test. Did it work? Did it not work? It worked, but the glasses is too heavy for the face. Oh yeah, go back. It worked, but the glasses is generating heat. Oh yeah, go back. So like the UX researcher job is just to gather information, and this information influences the design and decisions that will be made eventually. So why the designer needs to work with them is because you as a designer are designing the best experience. And who else do you work with to get the experience other than the UX researcher that has gone to gather information on the best experience? So yeah, your decisions now as a designer is not just from my mind, it is backed up with data-driven research, which was put out there so that we can best understand the user behaviors, pain points, and needs. Okay, I think this is the last one. I hope this is the last one. Ah, come on. Yeah. Um, we have the designer. Sorry, we have the oh, we have the client designer collaboration. Okay, so client designer collaboration is basically client and designer. Sorry. Okay. So client designer collaboration. So literally, if you are a freelancer, and even if you're working in an organization, your organization is kind of your client. If you are freelancing, then whoever gave you the job is your client. And when your client or business owner, and when you're working with them, it's not the same way when you're working with your product manager, or you're working with, like, this person may or may not know jack of what you're talking about or what you're saying. Their own is, I want my account to be receiving alert, and I want it to be receiving alert as fast as possible. So all this while you're telling me that user has to so like, fam, give me my money. So at the end of the day, you have to be able to communicate with them. The reason why we're using red for your brand is so and so. I want this brand to be yellow. Sir, your brand can be yellow, but nobody will log in because yellow will be too bright on their eyes. So you have to know how to communicate with your client, basically, or your business owner, because they may or may not be tech savvy to understand what you're doing, but you still need to deliver and get the job done. Then you also want their approval, because if it doesn't work, they will not pay you, or they would say, okay, let's get somebody else to do the job, and you do not want that. So at the same time, as you're aligning your designs with the client's vision and everything, try to know that, okay, all of us agree before we proceed at different points. So we're all aligned with the client's vision. Before I even start, like, maybe if I'm doing a website now, I'll ask, okay, what's this website for? What is the goal of this website? What do you want to achieve with this website? Where would you be? Who are the audience of you? Who is the target audience of your website? Things like that. So let everybody be on the same page. Even if, like, if it's a larger organization, definitely there are people that will probably gather this information for you, but there'll still be times you have to, like, now if you're doing a demo and they start asking questions, you should be able to answer those questions. What is a demo? A demo is like a presentation of your work, like most likely presentation of the prototype of your work. So it's like a run shot. Okay, this is how your products will work, be it a website, an application, whatever, before it's actually real and actually does things. So yeah, and it keeps the client engaged too. So in between, not that you ghost the client and then show after 2 weeks and say, okay, this is your work. You should try to communicate in between and the client. So you don't want to wait and then come back, because if you wait and come back and you have done, like, let's say 100 pages, and the client is like, I do not like this, I do not want this, I'm not paying you. Will you now go back and now do another 100 pages? So it's best to get the foundation right before you start building and going all the way. Okay, so now we have design critiques and peer reviews. So definitely nobody is perfect. You have your quality assurance behind you that will test your product in ways you didn't even know was possible. And you're like, would a user actually, for whatever reason, use this product this way you have used it to test? And then there are also design critics, like you will put your design out there that, okay, you guys critique my work, or you meet a senior product designer and you're like, okay, I designed this, tell me what I can do to make it better. And they'll be like, oh, change the margin, change the spacing, change the color. Or you even literally can even give ChatGPT, oh yeah, check this design, should I change the space, should I, like, does it look good, does it get the job done, stuff like that. And then you have peer reviews. You can ask your friends. Advisably, Abby, our advice, if you're going to do peer reviews, let it be people in the same field so they can give feedback based on knowledge, not just feedback based on perception. But then you can mix it up, because the product also is for people that are not in the tech field. So you still want to hear your peer reviews, like, okay, what do you think about this? Is there a way we can make it better? Did you get the job done? Things like that. And then so you get both normal extra user experience feedback, and then you also get what's the word, knowledgeable feedback, like, okay, this is my field, and based on my field of so and so years, I advise you do so and so, or this design makes sense, continue. So it helps identify potential design issues. You can improve solutions and foster innovation through constructive feedback. And definitely you have to be open to feedback, because, like I said, nobody's perfect. So there will be times that they're, wow, beautiful, you designed this, well done. Oh. And instead of like, who designed this thing? Like, were you sleeping, or how did you miss this, or what is this, or this is ugly? So you have to be open to feedback, because there will always be the good and the bad. And if you get a lot of good, look at ways you can be better. So yeah, let's move on. So with all I've said, are we together or are we lost? You guys can type in the comments if we're together or if we're lost. Okay. All right. So if you just enter class, I'm sorry. But you learn more and then you can always go back to catch up. So yeah. So let's move on to importance of diverse perspectives. I think I've kind of touched the importance of diverse perspective, like why you need why you need different people to look at your work. And different people looking at your work, like I said, is best from professionals, and that's the word, from professionals. But that doesn't mean you can't still get from regular people too, because users of your product, if they are regular people, that will be great for your like feedback. And then from professionals is okay, I know what I'm telling you. So let's move into the importance of diverse perspectives. So yes, you want to definitely create more inclusive user-centered products by integrating different viewpoints. And when you integrate all these viewpoints, which is kind of maybe to myself, but when you integrate different viewpoints, it leads to better problem solving, innovation, and a design that caters to a broader audience. So your design can go far because you have implemented changes. So when you maybe your type of user is a 10-year-old boy, you can just maybe when you're done, you can just give your brother or your cousin or your nephew and be like, try playing this game or try finding your way around, and just be watching him or her and just see, okay, he successfully found his way around without me telling him anything, or he was lost and he kept tapping something else. So you can just get that information and apply it. Or you can meet someone else and be like, oh, you have been in this field for 10 years, I beg, just help me check this thing, and you'll give constructive feedback. So based on all of that, you can solve problems better, be innovative, design something that caters for a broader audience. Maybe your app didn't have accessibility, so they can't zoom, or maybe colorblind people, you didn't add any shape to help them. Everything is just in between. So you'll be more intentional. So yeah, and then definitely at the end of the day, your work will be more user-centered and better. So what are the tools for collaboration? We've mentioned a lot. So what can we even use to collaborate? And I think by now we kind of understand what collaboration is and how it works. So what can I even use to talk to the other person across the room or that other team person? So basically, when it comes to what are the tools for collaborations, there are platforms and softwares that help design teams and stakeholders. By now we know what a stakeholder is. Work together efficiently, share ideas, and manage the design process. These tools, which are for collaboration, working together, they facilitate real-time communication, like the Google Meet example I gave, design feedback, prototyping, handoffs, and project management. So everything has to be managed well. Handoff, that's when I'm releasing it to developer. Prototyping, that's when I'm creating like a replica of what it would be at the end of the day. Design feedback, everybody can input that yes, no, do, don't. Then real-time communication. At the same time, all of us can um do it at this like talk at the same time. So Real time basically means it's happening right now, no matter what your clock tells you, wherever you are all over the world. As I'm speaking, you are listening. So that's what we call real time. So these tools facilitate real time communication, design feedback, prototyping, handoffs, and projects management or products management. And yeah. So what are the tools? The picture here is even Figma. So this kind of how your mouse shows. So different people can come and view your work, and instead of all these UX writer developers, usually the name of the person that will show, but this is literally how it shows. Like you can have a design. So a design here is like a card of a shopping platform. And then UX writer is looking at it that okay, should we change the word? Should we not? The developer is looking at it, okay, let me go and add it to my code. Designer just add to cart, or maybe made the button bigger based on feedback. So everybody can talk at the same time, look at it at the same time, agree, disagree, brainstorm, and proceed. So that's how it looks. There's in Figma we also have comments, which I think I showed in one of our classes. We also have comments, we have real-time typing, like a chat, not a chat that stores information, but like let's say 10-second chat. Like as you type, it shows for like 2-3 seconds, or let's say like 10 seconds, and then it fades off. So it's like quick communication. If you want a longer communication, you can use a comment. And then if you want real time hear your voice, you can literally place a call in Figma. So you can place a call. I don't think you can place a video. And then also another way of communication, you can mark for dev. And then with Figma's updates now, you can annotate. So like you can literally just point, like say, okay, change this part of the screen, change this part. So the person doesn't even have to be there. You have already left your feedback. And when the person comes back, probably see like sticky notes or see like pointers of what to do or what not to do. So I've already I've already mentioned Figma and dived in. But yeah, those are what tools of collaboration do. And it's not just Figma, because I mean we're talking to different people. So let's move on. So examples of tools for collaboration, we have Figma, which is like our core platform. We have Miro or Miro. Miro is kind of similar to FigJam. So, but FigJam is kind of easier for us to have right now. But Miro is kind of like FigJam. So you can have stickers, you can brainstorm, everybody is there at the same time. Yes, no. It's like a digital board, basically. So you can draw, you can point things out. So instead of, I mean, if you're working with people all over the world, it's not as if you're in the same room and everybody can come to a board and write something or place a sticker on it. So this is like the digital alternative to do that. And I mean, with time and years, it's kind of second nature, so it doesn't feel so complex. Then we have Slack. Some of us might have heard of Slack. Slack is like a platform where an entire organization could be on Slack, and then you could have your team groups. It's like a WhatsApp for work, basically. It's literally like a WhatsApp for work, but it's more organized because you can have huddles. It's literally WhatsApp for work, basically. Like I don't even know how to change it at this point, because you have calls, you can do group call, you can do personal call, but then it informs everybody that you're in a call. And then like if they come to your profile, they'll see you're either in a huddle or something. Then you have your different groups for different purposes. Maybe you have your product design group, you have your engineering group, you have the main everybody company group. What else on Slack? You can put your profile. So if someone is like, oh, let me even check this person out, they'll see your name, they'll see your role in the company. Maybe if you add your phone number, they can message you privately or whatever. So that's kind of how Slack is. Slack is like a WhatsApp for work. So it's quite collaborative. And it's good because it kind of separates work from your personal life. So you don't have to flood WhatsApp with your communications. And another good thing about Slack is it stores your conversation. So even if you leave the company, you can still go back and check. And that's kind of like a knowledge management system. So information isn't lost because you left. Then yeah, David said he uses Miro and Slack with his team at the office. Amazing. So it makes life easy, really. Then we have FigJam too. Fig Jam is like explain. You have stickers. Can create flow charts. It's great for brainstorming and mapping out ideas and flows. You can do it with people. You can do it alone. Whatever works for you. Notion too is like a project management tool. Project, not product. Project. You can use it for product or well and good, but you can use it. Is a project management tool, and you can do so many things. You can organize information, you can set tasks, you can be accountable. Basically, just to say, okay, this is what I want to achieve today. So in a company setting, it's like, okay, so you and you achieve this today. When you have achieved it, change the status to achieved or in progress, that type of thing. And there are different things like that. We have Jira, we have ClickUp. Those are other project management tools. So then the last one here is Google Meets for demo or presentations. Definitely it's not just Google Meet. Some people use Zoom, some use Skype. I don't even know if Skype is still existing, but some used to use Skype. And what else exists? Microsoft Office, Teams, Microsoft Teams. So depending on your company and the package they created, is either they're using, if it's Google Workspace, then they'll most likely use Google Meet, and then it's paid for. So you can be on call for hours, do your 1 hour, 2 hour demo presentation, your brainstorming session, your work with the team. They're in the background. If you need anything, just speak and then they'll reply, and everybody goes on silent and continue working. Yeah. So whatever platform you want to use for like live, give that feeling like we're in the same room. You can use all these Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. So the list is long. So whatever works for your company setup, you can use that. But I think over time I've come to fall in love with Google. So Google Meet works best for me, and I like how sharp I'm already in and we're moving. Okay, so I think the ones listed here are free to an extent. It's only if you want extra features that you pay for it, and those extra features usually come when you're handling larger, more complex tasks. So it's kind of free. I think this is a compilation of free options. Definitely there are paid versions of them, but like I said, more companies, and there are also other collaborative platforms that are paid for like that. So whatever works for you or whatever your company sets up for you. Yeah, Canva enables collaboration. So different platforms for different things enable collaboration. But Canva is not really a product management platform. It's for design. But then you can collaborate on it. And I think it's on the paid version, but it depends. I don't know. I haven't used that feature yet. So yeah. Yeah, Skype is really used or still. I honestly haven't heard of Skype in a long time, which is kind of sad because they were the ones doing all of this before Zoom and the others came in, or before, at least let me say, Google Meet came in, because I know when Google Meet started around Corona period. So, or I knew of it, though it might have existed. Don't come for me. I knew of it during Corona period. Okay. So let's go on. Oh gosh, this stuff is long. So now we are 10 minutes before we go on break. I want to go on a break. So let's just talk. Do we have any questions? There's still much more to talk about, but it's not that much. I'll cover it in the next half, or maybe if we finish this fast, then I'll just treat a bit more before it's 8 o'clock. But do we have any questions? Do we want to clarify anything? Okay, I'm seeing a question that if a contract is given to a designer and the design team is made up of many designers, who then is the owner of the contract since there are many designers? The contract is most likely given to the product manager, who will then be assigned or talk to the design or to the team lead who will then assign a designer for it. Because as a company, you're not really working individually, you're working for the company. So whatever the company works on, all of you works on, and today you can be working on this, tomorrow you can work on something else. It's kind of advice you have your own products you like grow in and with, but then sometimes they are switched off so that someone else too can learn about the product and design for the product. So if a contract comes into a company, it will probably be broken down before it even gets to you as a designer. So the product, like maybe the head of product will have the discussion with the CTO or whatever, and then it will now come down to, okay, this is the project manager in charge of this contract, and then project manager will say, okay, team lead, which designer is available to work with me on this contract, and a designer will be assigned to it. And if it's something that is large, then you can have maybe 2-3 designers working on it at the same time. Yeah, it's only if it's a personal project, like a gig, that I can say, okay, oh, now me here I'm first or something, and then you guys figure out how you want to do it. Either work together or split it, or one person does it alone. So yeah. Okay. So do we have any other question? What's the role of engineers? So there are different types of engineers, and the same way we have, like I mentioned, front-end and back-end developers have their own diverse people. So there's a chance that they are not even there's a chance. Their team is called engineering team. So there's engineering in tech, and there's engineering in oil and gas, or mechanical engineering, or civil engineering. There's that engineering, all well and good. Same way product design. There's product design in making of shoes, in making of cars, in artwork. Like products is of any products. Us, we're just dealing with digital products. There's physical products. So it's a whole different ball game. Same way engineers, the same way you have your robotic engineer, everything, you also have your digital engineer. And even with the digital engineer, you still have some of the hardware engineers, because in a company like Apple, the software developer or the designer is working with the hardware engineer. Because imagine if I'm designing for, like now Apple brings out a new screen size, and I'm designing for the smaller screen size. Obviously it won't show well on the bigger screen size, so the hardware engineer or whoever has to talk to me and tell me, screen size has changed though, so that when people are designing, you consider that and won't have issues in the future. So things like that. And then even hardware, like the new feature on iPhone, I think from iPhone 14 or so, that has that top stuff around the camera that is interactive, is not in the lower models. Like iPhone 12 doesn't have it, iPhone 8, I mean X series doesn't have it, and below doesn't have it. But it started from iPhone 14. So definitely all of them sat down and spoke and decided what to do to, let's add that feature with the hardware accepting it. Even camera zoom too. I think that iPhone 16 camera zoom, all of them had to sit down. Yeah, software align with hardware so that we can add this new feature. So everybody's talking with everybody basically, or should talk with everybody. Now, everybody might not talk with everybody. Let's not make this mistake. It's most likely your team lead or your head of design team or your whatever that is actually doing the talking most of the times. Because I mean, imagine a team of like 20 designers. You want all 20 designers to be there? Come on. It's just probably best as the person heading the design, or maybe the designers working on the project, the team lead, and whoever else. Or before you even get to that stage, like I said, it's probably the heads alone that will decide. They will now go back to their team members and communicate the results, or ask for feedback, and maybe go back and discuss those type of things. So yeah. Okay, 4 minutes more. All right, so there's this session coming up which has been announced, and it's kind of still being announced. It's going to be happening on the 31st of May. You probably see the picture now, or during the break session, or at the end of this class, and you guys probably saw it at the beginning of this class. So it's a session called Breaking into Tech, a global approach to the fourth industrial revolution, and it's being taken by Kola Oyene. Oyene, I don't think I pronounced that well. And well, he's the CEO of Opportunic Global Fund. It's happening on the 31st of May on YouTube in the Incubator Hub by 7 p.m. So I'm sure you guys will want to attend and learn a lot. Things like this, tech programs, tech discussions, they add knowledge. And if the physical events, this one is not physical, but when you have opportunities to attend physical ones, this is where you get to build your community of professionals that can even later critique your work or talk to you. So yeah, so there's a session coming up soon. You see the image. Okay. It's about breaking into tech, basically. That is what it's all about. So do we have any other questions? Our break is in like 4 minutes. Yeah, this is the flyer for it. So if you need more information, contact your coordinators. So do we have any other questions? All right. So with that being said, I think we can go on break. Then we'll come back at like 8:03 or 8:05, and then we'll continue. Thank you all, and see you soon. Okay, I'm seeing. Okay. I'm seeing a question. Can you throw more light on collaboration? Collaboration is basically just working with others to achieve a goal. So now what is the goal? We're creating a user-centric product, digital product. What is a digital product? Anything you want to create. It could be a website, an application, anything that is digital. And yeah, so to create that product is not just the designer's work. Someone has to develop it. Someone has to think of the flow. Someone has to approve and pay for it. So this, and also you even have to even talk about, it's like someone will use it. So this is just communication and working with users, working with developers, engineers, working with product managers, working with everyone. So at the end of the day, we have a working product that keeps getting better. So I think that's the best way to define what collaboration is, unless you need a specific shining of light. All right, so let's go on break. If you have any questions, I'll attend to it when the break is over. Thank you. Okay, guys, let's continue. All right, so developing a collaborative workspace. Let's continue from where we stopped. So developing a collaborative workspace. So first, I mean, you want a place where you can work. You definitely can have either a virtual or a physical space. Okay. Thank you everyone. Welcoming back to class. So you could either have a physical or a virtual space. A physical space, as said, this could be an open office layout, which actually does encourage spontaneous discussions than everybody having their own personal office. Then we can have workstations or work spaces basically. Then conference rooms or conference rooms or rooms for brainstorming. It might not be like the cliche conference room with long table and everything. It could just be a room with maybe a digital board and like space for people to sit down so everybody can contribute, and we have like a moderator writing on the screen. Then also we have virtual spaces. So this is where you use the collaborative platforms we've talked about to replicate this exact same environment online. That's where you use Figma, you use FigJam, you use Miro, you use Slack, things like that. So what are the best practices for collaboration? One, you should set clear rules. Define responsibilities to avoid confusion and overlap. Definitely, everybody should know what they are doing, not and we're working on this and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I would do on the project or on the product. Like for example, now three designers have been assigned to a project. What is the first designer work? Is one designer working on mobile view, another designer working on web view, another designer working on maybe light mode, another designer working on dark mode or website, or maybe someone is working on the user views, another is working on admin views, another is working on website. So things like this, I should know what I'm doing, I should know what I'm working on in detail. So different responsibilities, let everybody have clear rules and to avoid confusions and overlap. Then definitely you also want to foster open communication. So this is where you create an environment where team members feel comfortable sharing ideas and feedback. So it's not a case where someone is sharing an idea and you're like, "Ah, that idea does not make sense," or "why are you even here?" You know, those type of things. We discourage them from sharing their ideas alone. Or maybe you coming out authoritative and you're like, "this is what we're doing, this is how it to be done. Thank you. God and good night and God bless you." So like we just came to listen to you. You didn't even ask for my input, or you didn't ask. Or maybe you make it feel like if I give an idea, it's like a punishment, like I get a punishment. Like maybe you say, "Oh, yeah, you that brought the idea, implement it by yourself." And it's like, me, I'm not looking for so much work now, so I'll just keep quiet. So those type of things, just have an environment where it's easy to talk. Team members feel comfortable sharing ideas and everybody receives feedback with an open mind. Then we now have regular check-ins. So this is where um con- sh- consistent meetings are scheduled, maybe bi-weekly or per month or weekly, to ensure alignment and address any issues. So one I know of is bi-weekly, and we kind of call it a sprint. So you can read up on agile methodology and how sprints work and scrum and stuff like those are things we'll not be teaching you, but you can learn and it's amazing. These are the things that influence or help collaborations as well. So every 2 weeks we can determine, okay, within these 2 weeks, this is what we want to achieve. We want to work on this number of things. and at the end of 2 weeks, okay, let's show what we have done. Did we achieve everything we wanted to achieve? What we achieved, is it good? Should we make it better? Is it good to go? And should we update? Should we change? So those are kind of like, yeah, agile learning methodologies. So those are kind of like what is discussed in regular check-ins. Also, they'll say, were there any blockers? Blockers are like, did you fall sick? Did someone not answer you? Is it that you need to talk to someone to get the results you need, or you need approval? So are there any blockers? So yeah, during these regular check-ins are like, okay, are we still on track? Not that 1 month will pass and then you'll be like, we didn't pass stage one or this and this. I thought you knew. And I mean, that could be horrible because there are budgets, there are timelines and stuff like that. Then let's talk about communication. Let's talk about communication. So what is communication? Communication refers, so we've talked about collaboration. So we've had class perfect. So we've talked about collaboration. Now we're talking about communication. So communication design refers to the clear exchange of ideas, feedback, and information between designers, stakeholders. Basically, communication is just where we are literally communicating, we're talking, we're giving feedback, we're exchanging ideas, we're brainstorming, and this is with everyone basically. So it could be the user, it could be the stakeholder, for the end goal, which is to make sure everybody is aligned with the goals, the user needs, and the business objectives. And it ensures that everybody understands what's happening, and the design intent, like, this is why we're going with this design, or this is why we chose this design, and everybody collaborates effectively. So communication is actually very important, and the key word is clarity and alignment. So everybody comes to understand what's happening and everybody's on the same page and aligned. So what are key communication skills? So we have active listening. This is where you're not listening to respond, you're actually listening to understand and validate others' contributions. So just like when you're creating an open communication and feedback environment, you're listening to understand, like, let me even understand which point of view you're coming from. Why did you say we should not try this out? Oh, because of 1, 2, 3. I understand where you're coming from now. And I also want to validate your contributions. And even if, I mean, you might not agree, it's not that you shut down the person. You can just maybe notice and be like, okay, let's hear others out. Maybe we can build on it to get the actual results we're looking for. Then active reasoning is paraphrasing, to paraphrase what they say, which shows engagement and comprehension. So when they finish talking, you can now say, you said 1, 2, 3, yes or no. They'll now say, number 3 is wrong, go. So that at the end of the day, communication has happened. So I actually understood what was said, and I'm not just assuming, and everybody's on the same page. Then presenting ideas. We mentioned where we can have demos. So when you're presenting ideas, this is where you outline the problem, solution, benefits, and you use storytelling techniques to engage your audience. So presenting ideas could be, depending on what stage you're presenting from, though. So you're like, oh, let's try so and so. And okay, let me give an example now. Maybe we want to build WhatsApp, right? And one idea is like, oh, we can have where they would just say, hey Siri, send a message to so and so. That's an idea. And another person will say, no, let them type it instead of hey Siri. And then the other person is like, hey Siri is obviously easier. I don't even need to lift up the phone. But then the second person or the teammate can now say, the second person is not wrong, or I understand where you're coming from, which is could be an additional feature. Because hey Siri, relying on hey Siri alone is a case where accent, pronunciation, internet could be a major blocker and Siri will not respond, or Siri will say, like maybe you say, my name is Shekemi, to go and say, my name is Shake Me. So you don't want to have that problem. So that's why you can say, okay, maybe there can be a voice note feature, or they can still be Hey Siri, but at the same time, or maybe Hey Siri and confirm if this is the words you want before it sends. So that's building on the idea. So yeah, and then you can use pictures or storytelling that, oh, I wake up from bed, instead of me looking at the screen, I just whisper, Hey Siri, call mom and tell her how beautiful she is, or text my mom and tell her how beautiful she is, something like that. And that could be your story. And they would say, yes, that works. But what if he says, mom, you're beautiful, or yeah, or it's called man, the person you named as man instead of mom. So things like that. So yeah, presenting your ideas, getting feedback, and how you present your ideas is advisable to, like, okay, this is the problem, this is the solution, these are the benefits, and then they break it down. And you can use storytelling as well to talk to your audience, whoever your audience is, before there's like a brainstorming session and stuff like that. Okay, so feedback techniques. So there's this particular feedback technique we'll be talking about called the sandwich approach. I feel there's been a lot of information overload in this class, but I mean, slow and steady. So we have the feedback technique, which is simply giving constructive feedback. And when you're giving feedback, just like, where all people will be like, I'm not mean, I'm just saying the truth. You can say the truth in a nice way. You don't have to be rude or disrespectful because you're saying the truth. So, same thing with feedback. If you don't like something, doesn't give you an excuse to be rude or disrespectful, because the person probably had valid reasons for going that route, or simply didn't have the experience you have. And it's not your job to pull down, but to lift up. So, how do you give constructive feedback? So there's this thing what we call the sandwich approach. Okay, this is where you start with a positive feedback, like, okay, I like your attempts or great work, because person did put in time and energy on bringing out whatever it is. And then it's like, okay, positive feedback, then address area of improvement, and you end with a positive remark, like, okay, I believe you can do a great job, well done, well done, I hope to see what you do next. So like that, you have kind of put the bad feedback in between two positive feedback. So try to see something positive about the situation, address areas for improvement, and then also put something positive. So we call it sandwich because it's like the bread are positive, and then maybe the beef or whatever in the middle is the negative, but not necessarily negative. It's just area for improvement. Okay. So yeah, so positive feedback.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Positive feedback, actual feedback, which may be negative, especially if it is negative, and then end with a positive feedback. So let's see an example here. So your design had great color choices. However, the layouts could be more user-friendly. Overall, I can see you put a lot of thought into it. So if someone hears this now, it's not your design, your layout, no, like it doesn't make sense. How can you put 1, 2, 3? Like, I'm a user, I can't even find my way. In fact, I'm a professional, I can't even find my way. How much more a user? Like, that's rude. Like, we're communicating the same thing, but it could have been better. So if you see that, oh, the colors are actually nice, it's just the layout you need to work on, then you can say, oh, I actually like the colors, oh, but let's work on this layout. And great work, because I know that this took a lot of time and you're putting in the effort. Definitely, what, people don't always have the luxury of time, but even if you have to only say the bad quote and unquote feedback alone, you can still say it in a nice way, that, oh, this layout can be better. Let's see 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. Great work. So you're even still complimenting at the end of the day. So yeah, we can always try the sandwich approach when it comes to constructive feedback. So last, we have tailoring communication. So when we're tailoring communication, like literally speaking, we need to look at the technical and non-technicality of things. Okay, Adapting your style. Just because you're a professional does not mean everybody you're talking to is a professional. Okay, so because you know agile methodology, or you know stakeholder, or you know UX researcher, improver, interaction designer. So when someone says, oh, what do you do? I'm an interaction designer, visual. I also work with the user interface and user experience of product, and someone just look like, what are you saying? I say, what do you do? You're telling me, like, what is your job? You can be nice and say, oh, I build websites. Like, that is more relatable. Or you can say, oh, I help with things like give examples, this. So someone has an idea of what you're talking about. Because working with different team members, obviously, not everybody, like, the owner of the company might not be tech savvy, your user might not be tech savvy. So you need to use simple language when you're explaining design concepts, especially people that are unfamiliar with design jargon. And then also you need to adjust your language, like how we've been doing in this course so far, and approach based on your audience background to ensure clarity. So that's why you find me, I try to explain everything I'm saying so that it won't be like, what is she saying? Because I know we've mentioned quite a lot of big words, quote and unquote, but it's breaking down those words because communication needs to happen. So that's kind of how it is basically. If you are dealing with a non-technical audience, you have no reason to use technical language. It's only probably if you're a technical audience that hey, you can use a technical language. And the thing is, don't overdo, because you yourself might not even understand what you're saying again, and it could lead to all sorts of things. So don't make life harder than it is, basically. Another thing is using visuals to help. So when you're adapting yourself and you're using visuals, okay, this is where you use images to support. So if someone doesn't even understand anything you say from head to bottom, they can see the picture and understand. So you can use infographics, which is like the image we have here. You can use actual pictures. You can use mock-ups. Mock-ups are like views of the design. So that's a design jargon to just say screenshots of what you did, basically, of a page in the design or of a frame in the design. So you can use that. Um, you can just add things to help whoever is going through your work or whoever you are presenting to understand what you are saying or what you are doing. So for especially for complex concepts, you can incorporate visuals to support your message. And yeah, and infographics is very effective. Infographics is basically just using graphics to give information. Like here, icons, people understand what icons are. And then if everything is organized well, not that they're reading, they can actually see. So yeah, it can help communicate, and most especially data driven design decisions. So instead of giving them table, just draw a graph. Instead of giving them all these complex table, just do pie charts. Like, just make life easy, basically. So we have come to the end of this class, and what I would like us to note is this: collaboration and communication are essential for successful design projects. So you need to collaborate, you need to work with people, you can't do it alone. And you need to be able to communicate, you need to be able to say the right things, ask the right questions, give the right feedback to be able to have successful design projects. Then utilizing the tools and techniques can enhance team effectiveness. Use the right tools, make life easy, and then learn how to use these tools, because if someone is using it for you but you can't use it, there'll be a blocker, or there'll be a clash. Okay, so learn how to share screen so that when you're doing your demo, you're not, can you see my screen, can you know what to do. So utilizing the right tools and techniques can enhance team effectiveness. Then it's not just about skills. These are essential practices that drive successful design outcomes. And it's even beyond design. In other areas of your life, if you have to give feedback about something, be nice about it. Be kind. um and then also, if you need to work with someone on, it might not even be a design task, maybe for a different goal, maybe in church or wherever, maybe a different, maybe an NGO, something you volunteer for. These are tools or tips you can also apply in your personal life. So I'll go through this again. collaboration and communication is essential for successful design projects. You should be able to utilize the right tools and techniques to enhance team effectiveness. And then it's definitely not just about skills. These are essential. These are essential practices that drive successful design outcomes. All right, so we have a quiz. Do we have any questions? So this is your cue to start joining the quiz. Start joining. You know the drill. You can go to slido.com, slido.com, put your ID, which is 236, I'll be 2636936. Put that ID 263 6936. Just input that to load the quiz. Or you can go to this bit.ly 4K ZW6IK capital. Or you can literally just scan the QR code. So whatever works for you, basically. And the link would also be attached to the chat. So I'm sending that now, so that if it's easier for you to just click the link directly from the chat, that will help too. Okay. Are we joining now? Let's be joining this little link so that we can start our quiz. Just join, put your name down. Then it's a live quiz, so fear not. The questions will come in step by step when we've all joined. It's a live quiz, so just join first. And if you have any questions, let me know. This is the time to say it. Kironik, are you in Nigeria? Let's all join. We're starting our quiz shortly. Join now. I think by 3:34 we should start, or 3:35 we should start. Let's all join. Let's start joining. I appreciate messages from you guys. So you could always just reach out to me on my LinkedIn or my email. So we could have conversations. If you have further questions I could help with. So I'll try my best to reply. If I don't reply, you can try again, please. So just try sending, and I'll try my best to reply to my email and my LinkedIn. Thank you. Hero, can you message me on LinkedIn? I want to ask some questions. You can't log in. Try again. Try refreshing. We'll wait a bit so you guys can join. Are we all set to start? So you guys don't have any questions. That means you understood everything that was taught. That's good news. So let's all join. The quiz will start shortly. Is Ibuko in this class? Are Ivy League students? Or let's say fastest finger. Okay, it's 3:35, so our quiz is starting now. So the first question is coming up. The first question is up. All right, so the question is, what is collaboration in design? Which is working with multiple stakeholders to create user-centered product. Not when you work alone or when you hire developers complete tasks. Next question. All right, so the question is, given the sandwich approach, which is for feedback, what should you do? Someone answered giving feedback only at the end of a project. That's wrong. The answer is starting with something positive, suggesting improvement, and ending with encouragement. So the suggestion is in the middle of two positive things, basically. Next. All right, so the answer to this, why is tailoring your communication important? So that people can see the visuals that support understanding, especially for complex ideas. No problem, Mary Love. That's a beautiful name. It's a live question, so even though you missed the first one, it's fine. It's happening in real time. Just continue. No need, don't worry about it. You can watch the video again to know what the question was. Next question is up. All right. Okay, still on. Okay, so this question is a bit tricky because they're sharing memes on Slack. When you're sharing memes, it's not for work. That one is as a friend or as a banter. It's not to you as a product designer to a developer. So that's why the answer is wrong. So basically, designer to developer collaboration is ensuring the design is feasible and aligns with technical capabilities. And the last question is coming up. All right. So this is the last answer. Have everybody got this one? Yeah, set clear rules and responsibilities. It's a good practice for collaboration. So the score, okay. Ibrahim Faiza, congratulations. Jeffrey, congratulations. Olamide, congratulations. Benga, Ogunwo, Daniel Benga, congratulations. Dara, congratulations. Those are top five. And for every other person that got 5/5, congratulations. Just put in the chat box your 5/5. Congratulations, everyone. Well, a lot of people got 5/5. And if you didn't get 5/5, if you got one, two, three, congratulations too. You got an answer right. And I'm sure it's because of network, not because you didn't know it. So congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Yes, so Pfizer is our number one today. Congratulations. All right, so we have a bit of time. We have about 15 minutes. So if you have any questions, it's kind of the best time to go ahead. Oh, that's amazing, Dara. Congratulations. You finally made it to the top five. That's amazing. The fact that you actually wanted to, that's really, really amazing. Congrats. I'm happy for you. Congrats, everyone. Yes, so this network Kent has done a lot of us. But don't worry, we'll try again in our next class. All right, I'm so happy for all of us. I mean, most of us got 5/5, so that means we understand what was taught. Evidently, why we don't have a lot of questions. So that's cool. I'm happy. You're happy. We're happy. On Figma. Yeah, we should have a proper. Okay. We can look into next week, but this week, tomorrow, I'll try to run us through Figma again at a slower pace so we know what's happening. And yeah, I think that should help. I'll try to take us through Figma at a slower pace tomorrow so we know what's happening. I think if you do the assignment, just like there's still a capstone project, so I think the assignment can serve as a preparation. So if you're unable to submit it, just like use it to practice for now and know the information basically. Components are not hard to be create. Literally just click on it and click on the component icon in the design panel. Then you copy it and paste it wherever you want. That's literally how to create a component. You can now create component set, animation, etc, etc. But the most basic way to create a component is click on anything, literally anything. It can be a shape, it can be a frame, anything. But as earlier described, components are things that are reusable. So click on something you want to use again. So this could be a side navigation or a top navigation depending, or a footer. And then you now click on the icon. On Figma, if you don't know what an icon is, just hover on it, keep your mouse on top of it for a while, the name will come up. So it's usually on the top layer under the presentation. And then you click on it. Whatever you had that was selected before you clicked on it will have a purple outline, meaning it has been converted to a component. and then can use it to do so many things. So one thing is you've tried and watched videos, but it seems not clear. All right, Elizabeth, message me privately. Let's see how we can solve it. Or since we have time, let me see if I can open Figma and just show you. Let me see. Okay, are there any other questions? Figma is currently loading on my end. But I think there was a class where I ran through Figma. I think that was either my first or second class teaching you guys. Okay, my second or third class teaching you guys officially. And in that class, I literally showed how to create a component. You, Rebecca, you sent a mail to me. But don't worry, maybe it got into my spam. You can resend it. Okay, it has loaded. Let me just show you. No, message me on LinkedIn. That's Oluwashekemi Adeyemo. I think this is my profile picture on LinkedIn as well. If you sent a mail, kindly resend because everyone, well, I probably missed it. Maybe it got buried under other mails. But resend. But since it's like a conversation, I think the best or better platform is LinkedIn. That one I'll definitely see your message. So it's not going to spam or anything because there's only few people I see on email. Okay, so let me try and share my screen. Okay. Okay, so here you want to create a component. Just literally, let me use a rectangle. You know what a component is? Something that you want to reuse throughout your design. Okay. So let me bring this. Okay, so this is a rectangle. I want to use this rectangle throughout my design. Apparently, it will be changing. Sorry, like apparently it will be on different platforms, and if I want to make an update, I don't need to be editing them one by one. So if I want to convert this rectangle into a component, I click on it. This is when you click on something on Figma, it's outlined. So I click on it. I go to component icon. So you see what I said, if you hover it on any icon, it will tell you what the icon means. So this is the component. It looks like, I really don't know what it looks like a game, like a diamond. You click on it, it turns purple. So this now is a component. And when it comes to components, we have parents and child. Honestly, people that probably are coming from a developer background have an advantage. If you study computer science or maybe management information system or computer information system, you kind of understand some of these concepts which are applied in product design or in UI UX. So parent and child basically means there's a source and then there are children, which is not the source. How do I know it's not the source? I right click and it tells me to go to main components. But if I right click here, it doesn't tell me to go to main components. This is the main components. I can now add a variant or whatever. So in code, there's that. So this is just the design version. So now I create this child here. I create this child here. Maybe this is the logo. So if they ever change the logo, it will change at once. So I've created these children. So this is the parent here. And I'll say, oh, I don't want this to be gray anymore. I want this to be red. Everybody changes. I want this to be blue. Everything. I want it to be green. Everything changes. So that's how components work. So there's now the upgrade of maybe creating a component set or creating a variant. So like this can add a variant. So you can now say, oh, let this variant, I'm just using squares, like I said, it could literally be anything. Let it be blue. So I can now come here and say, oh, I want it the blue version, not the green version. And as said, if I put them, if I change this to red, it changes all of them. So that's how components work basically. I hope you understand. Okay, so Rebecca, kindly send a message to my LinkedIn. I'll reply you. LinkedIn, not YouTube, LinkedIn. Then, okay, yes, a lot of students are professionals and they know most of the things I'm teaching, but some of them don't want to teach others. You guys don't get people, like help each other. You'll literally be working on group projects. So if you don't help each other now, it might be difficult to help each other later. I mean, we're all learning, and the best way to learn is by teaching. I have learned so much teaching you guys, literally. So please, if you understand maybe larger concepts, you already know how to use Figma, be your brother's keeper and just help out. Okay. Let me see if there are any other questions. Is there a product design course in the university for those who want to develop themselves further? Okay, so they're professional certificates. We have the one from Google, we have Meta, we have one from Google, we have Meta. Then if you want actual courses, they're usually specialized. So you most likely see things like interaction design or HCI, human computer interaction. So those are like what you can study in school. And places like maybe Art Center, I think they have a course on, I don't know if it's called UI UX or it's part of the teaching, but I know they have interaction design and they'll definitely teach you UI UX there and amongst other things. So you most likely find specialized fields instead of unique ones. But you can do courses and you can do professional courses where the certificate actually has a relevance. It's not just simple. And most of these, like the ones that are like conk, are usually paid. So, but then there are so many free on Figma. Sorry, I said on Figma, on YouTube, and maybe Udemy or so. But what works for you? You can also register for this Common Interaction Design Foundation, IDF. So they offer courses too. You can enroll with them. You get to see so courses in different forms, both for product design and UI UX. So you can see it for virtual reality, you can see it for maybe normal design thinking, just different forms. And these certificates have value and also at your learning. So if you're not doing for a certificate, you're acquiring knowledge. If you're doing it for a certificate, it has, so when you're applying for a job, you can just show, yeah, I've done all of these things. And also for learning, to be honest, the best learning is from either a colleague or from YouTube because they're more real. They are not so corporate, but you can also, I mean, learn as much as you can. So yes, there are courses, but like I said, it's mostly certificates, professional and regular, that fall under that. You see product design or UX design and all those stuff. But there literally are courses, like sorry, degrees, just that they are mostly specialized than regular degrees. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Joseph. Don't worry, the quiz is just for you to recap on what you've learned. It's not determining you graduating from this class. Yeah, so let's help everybody. Let's help each other. All right, Elizabeth. I don't know why you're typing in caps, but I mean, sure, you can watch the how to create a component again. Will be very much, I mean, to help. How do I know when I'm job ready with the skill? I think it comes with confidence. So try working on projects. Try doing things from scratch. To be honest, there is grace and opportunities even when you don't feel ready. But it also gets to a point where you're confident to a point and you can say, I can do this. And this is when you've probably worked on something or you have a portfolio or you have at least a couple of designs that make up your portfolio and you have your courses and certificates and you're like, okay, I can start applying for jobs. But then don't wait. If you see opportunities, maybe an internship or a free volunteer service, learn, put that on your resume or CV as experience, and then keep building from there. Yeah, praise. I've shown how to create a component in this class. Just watch the video. What's the criteria for mentoring? I think if you win, so we're having a capstone project, different you guys will be grouped into different teams or groups. You work on a project. I'll give more details on that tomorrow. You work on a project, could be anything, maybe a food ordering app or a simple flow, not a complex flow. We've learned about flows. It could be a food ordering app, it could be anything, it could be WhatsApp, it could be anything you want to do. It could be a social media, it could be a nursing platform. So when you do that, would look at everybody's submission and will grade, and most likely the best person is who will be mentored. But regardless of that, there might still be like, I mean, our DMs are open, or we might still like work with the different groups and things like that. So fear not. Okay. Okay, the first person will be hackathon. So they're actually different things. And then mentoring will probably be for everybody, but in different groups still. You can practice on Figma. That's what you use. Every other thing is to support your work on Figma, and there are plugins for that. And as you grow is when you actually need other sites, like other sites for animation, other sites for anything really. But you're supposed to practice on Figma. But learning how to practice, check Dribble, check Figma community for templates, check Dribble for existing screens, go to YouTube, go to Pinterest, go to Behance. And the good thing about Figma community is that you can get templates, you can even edit and see, okay, this is how they did the auto layouts for this. So let me even practice. And some YouTube videos attach the file, like a copy of a file of what they worked on. So you can download it and try or edit your own version and things like that. So that's how you can practice. You're free. Personally, I feel you're free, but that's not for me to say. It's later that, I mean, it's when you have put together your portfolio, you can start sharing or you can put together work. And that's kind of why we're even working on this project. So you can post in your LinkedIn and say, I worked on so and so. And that's already creating a track record of you having experience in this field. So I think we're all done. So now you guys are sending questions. And I was saying, send questions. What about those who couldn't attend the classes? Would there be another opportunity for them to enroll again? I would advise you go back to watch the classes. If Incubator Hub is having another design teaching, then you can re-enroll, but just go back and watch the classes. It's more important you learn than you just tick attendance at this point. So, can you get a full UX in Dribble? You could get a link to a full UX in Dribble, but you'll most likely not see the full. You just probably see different screens because that's what the platform is for. But you probably, like, the owner might be nice to say, oh yeah, click on this link to view the entire Figma file. Yeah, you can see designs you can learn from. You can even talk to the owners. Can you? Depends. Maybe on somewhere like LinkedIn now, you can literally message the owner, or Behance, you can message the owner. If they're nice people and would reply, That would be cool. And yeah, things like that. Thank you, Elizabeth. Can you get the WhatsApp link? Okay, okay, that's different. So, Rebecca, just reach out to the coordinators, which you have done, and you're good to go. Thank you for the training. Thank you, everyone. We've exceeded our time. I hope we're all good. If you have any more questions, just send me a private message. And I had a good time. I hope you all did. Thank you so much, and good night, and God bless you. Bye bye.